Fritz Erich George Eduard von Manstein. Born Fritz Erich George Eduard von Lewinsky, November 24, 1887 to June 9, 1973. Was a German General Feldmarschall in the Heer, Army, of Nazi Germany during World War II. He was subsequently convicted of war crimes and sentenced to 18 years imprisonment. Born into an aristocratic Prussian family with a long history of military service, Manstein joined the army at a young age and saw service on both the Western and Eastern Front during the First World War, 1914-18. He rose to the rank of captain by the end of the war and was active in the interwar period helping Germany rebuild its armed forces. In September 1939, during the invasion of Poland at the beginning of the Second World War, he served as Chief of Staff to Gerd von Rundstedt's Army Group South. Adolf Hitler chose Manstein's strategy for the invasion of France of May 1940, a plan later refined by Franz Halder and other members of the OKH. Anticipating a firm Allied reaction should the main thrust of the invasion take place through the Netherlands, Manstein devised an innovative operation to invade France, later known as the Sichelschnitt, sickle cut, that called for an attack through the woods of the Ardennes and a rapid drive to the English Channel, thus cutting off the French and Allied armies in Belgium and Flanders. Attaining the rank of general at the end of the campaign, he was active in the invasion of the Soviet Union in June 1941. He led the Axis forces in the Siege of Sevastopol, 1941-1942, and the Battle of the Kerch Peninsula, and was promoted to Field Marshal on July 1, 1942, after which he participated in the Siege of Leningrad. In late 1941, Germany's fortunes in the war had taken an unfavorable turn. In December 1942, during the catastrophic Battle of Stalingrad, Manstein commanded a failed relief effort, Operation Winter Storm. Later known as the backhand blow, Manstein's counteroffensive in the Third Battle of Kharkov, February-March 1943, regained substantial territory and resulted in the destruction of 3 Soviet armies and the retreat of 3 others. He was one of the primary commanders at the Battle of Kursk, July-August 1943. His ongoing disagreements with Hitler over the conduct of the war led to his dismissal in March 1944. He never obtained another command and was taken prisoner by the British in August 1945, 3 months after Germany's defeat. Manstein gave testimony at the main Nuremberg trials of war criminals in August 1946, and prepared a paper that, along with his later memoirs, helped cultivate the myth of the clean Wehrmacht, the myth that the German armed forces were not culpable for the atrocities of the Holocaust. In 1949 he was tried in Hamburg for war crimes and was convicted on 9 of 17 counts, including the poor treatment of prisoners of war and failing to protect civilian lives in his sphere of operations. His sentence of 18 years in prison was later reduced to 12, and he served only 4 years before being released in 1953. As a military advisor to the West German government in the mid-1950s, he helped re-establish the armed forces. His memoir, Verloren Siege, 1955, translated into English as Lost Victories, was highly critical of Hitler's leadership and dealt with only the military aspects of the war, ignoring its political and ethical contexts. Manstein died near Munich in 1973.